to use the present perfect tense in English. Actions and events that started in the past.
Action and event.
Actions
Start
and events
in the
that started
past,
in the past and continue
to the present. Yes.
Okay. And we were giving you many, many examples in our warm-up of actions and events that started in the past that continue in the present. Now let's see another example of it. She says, I have cleaned my room. Now in this example, the room is clean now. She's talking right now. I have cleaned my room. Means earlier, I cleaned my room and it's clean right up to the present time. Okay. Then now this is another example of a present perfect when something has just finished. She has just finished her project. She started the project in the past and it is ongoing up until the present moment. So as long as it's in the present moment, it becomes the present perfect, okay? Even though she's finished, she's just finished it, okay? Okay. Right. Now we're going to look at how the present perfect tense is formed in grammar. You have your subject plus also have plus the past participle verb, V3. Now, your subject, as you know in English, your subject could be an object, it could be a person, it could be your son, your husband, it could be a house, it could be your name, Guden, you know. But there's also subjects that are pronouns as well. And pronouns can be a bit tricky, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But that's your subject. Now, you're either going to use has or have with that subject, okay? And we will talk later on how you decide whether you use has or have. And then the last part is the past participle verb, okay? Now, we will go into detail, break down each category in this formula, okay? So let's start with an example. Now, when you're using the pronouns he, she, it, and then I, you, we, they. Now, the first three always go with has, and the last four always go with have. This is something you have to learn. Now, remember that has and have are also called your auxiliary verbs, or some people call them the helping verbs, but their official name is auxiliary verbs. Has got to go with the subject. So when the subject is he, it's going to be he has.
He has, yes.
When the subject is she has. It has. If the subject is I now I is singular, but I is have. That's but it has to be learned. You could be single or plural, but it always will go with have. We will always go with have, and they will always go with have. So might want to just write that down on a piece of paper. He, she, it goes with has. I, you, we, they go with have, just so that you can remember it. Okay?
I remember.
Okay, all right, good. Now here's an example. Now we're going to use the verb to work. Okay? Now to make this sentence in the present perfect, we would use I with have, I have. And the past participle verb is worked. I have worked. And then if you were using you would put you have worked. He has worked. She has worked. It has worked. We have
We-
worked, and they have worked. So always they with have, we with have, it with has, she with has, he with has, you with have, I with have, always. That you must put to memory, okay?
Okay.
Now, the last part of that equation, we start with the subject plus has or have. And then the last part was the past participle verb. Okay.
Mhm.
Now we have regular verbs and we have irregular verbs. And this is probably the most difficult part about constructing the present perfect tense in English, knowing how to treat the regular verbs versus the irregular verbs. Okay?
Mhm. Okay.
So let's start with the regular verbs. Now, the regular verbs, you know, they follow the same rule as the past simple tense, but basically, when it's a regular verb, you're either adding ed to it, or if the verb ends in a y, you're adding ied.
Yes.
If the verb just ends with e, you just add d to it, okay? And let's look at these examples. Now, cook.
Cooked.
The past participle, or the V3 or third form, is cooked. COOKED.
Yes.
Okay. Study.
Okay.
Now, study, the verb ends with Y. So, we remove the Y and replace it with I, and then we add ED.
Yes. Studied.
Right. Paint is straightforward. Paint, painted, ED. Now, here's one, carry. Carry
Yes.
with a Y, remove the Y to I, and then add ED, carried.
Yes.
Help, simple, we just add ED to it. Knock, add ED to it, NOCKED. Walk, we just add ED. Clean, we add ED. And like, now like is one of those verbs, it's the only one here, with a verb ended with the E, and we just added D to it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So now this is probably the thing that everybody has the most difficulty with, is how do you make the main verb into the past participle verb, okay? So as you can see, there's a lot of rules in this, and you have to learn all the rules. Like, everybody has to understand when the verb ends with Y, you replace the Y with I and add ED. You have to understand that when the word ends with just an E, like, you just add D, okay? So this is, we're gonna give you a sheet later where you will, something that you will just take home with you, where you will just have a list of the regular verbs and the past participle tense, which is the third tense. And just to let you know, the third tense of the past participle verb is the same as the past simple tense.
Past simple tense.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, just to confuse you some more.
Yes, irregular, I think.
Let's go to the irregular verbs.
Yes, difficult.
This is the difficult part.
Yes.
Now, irregular verbs, they do not follow the ED rule. Irregular verbs use the third form of the verb to form the past participle. Now, unfortunately, the regular verbs, you have to learn. You have to learn them, because they're as the word says, irregular. You have to learn them. Okay.
Yeah. Hiç.
And
Yes.
so, for example, go.
Yes.
The second form is went, and the third form is gone.
Gone.
You have to learn it.
Yes.
There's no
Yeah.
magical formula for it. Okay.
Yes. I have to learn.
Yes. Read. Now look at this. Read.
Read.
We say read, but it's still spelled the same way. And read is the same way. So that's irregular. So, this time the
Okay.
verb actually is spelled the same way in all three forms. Okay. Then we have have, had, had.
Had.
Okay.
Okay.
Eat,
Eat.
ate,
Ate.
eaten.
Eat. Okay.
See, saw,
Saw.
seen.
Seen.
Okay.
Do.
I don't expect you to memorize these, but I'm just showing you that these irregular words, if you don't learn them, it would be very difficult to figure out the third form.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is just some examples like do,
Okay.
did, done. Okay. Cut. Now cut. Now look at that. Same
Same.
spelling. And then we have come, came, come. It's the third form. Buy, bought, bought.
Bought.
Okay. Write, wrote, written, and break, broke, broken. Okay. So all this is to show you, not to confuse you, that
Okay.
if you don't know the third form of the verb, it's very, very difficult to get the grammar right for the present perfect tense. So this is why it's important to learn these irregular verbs. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Don't
Right.
spend too much time on that. Just know that this is where the area of we have to learn, okay? Or just have a
Okay.
piece of paper beside you all the time. Irregular verbs, this is my list. Okay,
Okay.
right. Moving on. Now, I have a little exercise here, and
Okay.
I'm going to allow you to do something, but here's an example for you, okay? So what I want, it says fill in the blank and complete the sentence in the present perfect tense using the main verb in brackets. So the main verb is in brackets, see cook, okay? So I'm saying to you, put it in the present perfect tense. So remember, there has to be a subject. It has to be followed by has or have.
After.
And then it has to be past participle verb at the end. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So here's my example. I have, because have
Cooked.
goes with I, okay? I goes with have. And the past participle of cook is cooked.
Cooked
Okay.
the meal.
Okay. So I'm going to give
Okay.
you some little exercise to do. If you have a piece of paper next to you, if you could just tell me how you fill in the blank to make it the present perfect. Okay.
Yeah, I try.
Here's your exercise.
They have helped me a lot recently.
Okay, just take your time now. Okay.
They have helped me a lot recently.
Good.
Second, I didn't see last
Carry. The verb is carry.
carry. Okay. You have carried the bags home. Thanks. My father has